Good job, you made it to the end of this solar blanket shootout. If you've just landed here and you haven't seen the earlier parts yet, go back and check those out first so this makes more sense. So how do we pick a winner here? Firstly, all 4 blankets are good blankets and they're all far better than the cheapies. So there's no bad blanket here, let's be really clear about that. But what's also become clear is that to differing degrees they're each better and worse in different areas. So the best blanket for you might actually be one of the runner-ups. It just depends on your needs and priorities.
If you decide to purchase one of these, there are affiliate links in the description and in some cases discount codes exclusive for subscribers. I don't care which one you buy, but when you do, please use these and you'll be supporting my channel at the same time.
Before I go on, I'd really appreciate it if you could share this series with friends on your social media channels. It only takes you 30 seconds, but it gets the word out, which helps my channel to grow. And if you didn't know, that thanks button down below is for if you'd like to send me a few bucks to help cover the purchase of future products for more independent reviews. Remember, I'm not sponsored by anyone, I pay for all the products and time myself, so please consider this, especially if my work's helped you make a wise purchase. Cheers. Now let's see the results. This radar graph shows the relative strengths and weaknesses of each blanket on a scale of 1 to 4, where the further out the line is from the centre, the better it is. This may help you decide which is best for you. The Hardkorr is probably the best all-rounder, and if this is your first solar blanket and you're starting with nothing, I reckon it's the pick of the bunch. It's the cheapest of the 4 at the price I paid, it's got the best accessory kit by a long shot, the strongest body material, it includes eyelets along the long side for hanging horizontally, and it has the longest warranty at 3 years. Despite that, it still managed to be the second best performer in terms of power output, it's the best value at $4.52 per median real-world watt, and it can be relied on for 120 to 130 watts under most conditions. Hardkorr really deserves a pat on the back for having put together such a good package for such a good price. Really the only sacrifices you make with the Hardkorr are its size and weight. You need to make sure you've got enough length to store this behemoth and are happy to lug around a few extra kilos. If the Hardkorr adopted the legs from the companion blanket, sorted out that slight fading issue and stitching around the Anderson plug, and could shrink it down a bit more with some more efficient cells, it would be very hard to beat.
An improvement for all these blankets would be to include an MPPT regulator instead of a PWM.
The Redarc and the Hardkorr are strong in opposite areas, so they probably appeal to opposite types of buyers. I reckon the Redarc would suit a regular traveller who wants a reliable 100 to 120 watts, puts size and weight as a top priority ahead of cost, and already has cables and regulators. It's by far the most space efficient per watt, its power advertising is the most realistic, and it certainly had no quality issues, which is important if you travel remotely. It doesn't have legs, but the good number of eyelets mean you can easily hang it somewhere or drape it across a windscreen to get a better sun angle. Redarc's done really well on this unit compared to their old 150 watt unit, which was over $1,500. However, $850 is still expensive for about 115 watts of real world power at $7.26 per median real world watt, especially as you then have to buy the accessories on top of that.
While I'd love to see accessories included, I don't think that's going to happen, but I would hope Redarc can improve the power to price ratio a bit, look to achieve an IP rating for this blanket, and maybe see if they can add legs in somehow. The companion is the go if you're after maximum power in a compact package. It consistently outperformed the others and can be relied on for 130 to 140 watts. It's also the most compact 200 watt blanket, and the adjustable legs mean you've got the best chance of maximising power no matter what time of day it is or where in the world you are. Despite having a basic looking regulator, it actually performed the best. But if you can strip and re-terminate those wires, it'll help prevent them coming loose all the time. It really is a very versatile blanket. However, you do pay for these features. At nearly $700, it's not the cheapest or the best value for power at nearly $5 per watt. The eyelets were of very limited value. If you're expecting to use your alligator clip cables regularly, I'd source an alternative set over the cheapies this unit comes with, and keep your receipt in case you happen to have similar build quality problems to me. However, it must be said on this that none of those build quality problems I noticed with the companion were serious. They were just, this shouldn't happen, that shouldn't happen, especially at this price, and they certainly didn't affect the way it worked for me. The companion continued to pump out the power reliably, and it remained my personal favourite blanket throughout the testing. There are a few obvious areas companion needs to improve on, but they should be cheap and easy to do as the fundamentals of this blanket are solid. Firstly, there's no excuse for the body fading, stitching coming undone, or eyelets peeling back after only 3 months use at this price. I'd put up with that from a $200 blanket, but not a $700 one. But at least Companion agreed and offered me a refund. They didn't know it was for a review. I hope they can add a few extra eyelets along each side so it can be hung horizontally, and increase the width of the material around the eyelets so they're supported and protected better. Probably the easiest win for the companion would be to get it IP rated, as I'm sure it's already capable of IP64. And lastly, replace those cheap plastic alligator clips with some nice metal ones, add crimp pins to the wires on the regulator so they don't come loose, and maybe see about including an MPPT regulator instead of a PWM. None of this is hard to do or expensive, so I hope Companion takes this on, as it'll really make it a category leader. So where does that leave the iTechWorld? Well, to be honest, I'm not sure, because it's a nice blanket, but I can't think of many types of people for whom it's the best choice. If you're after pure bang for buck or a good accessory pack, you take the Hardcore. If you need a light and compact solution and money's less of an issue, you get the Redarc and get almost the same power and a longer warranty. If you need maximum power, you'd spend a bit more for either the Companion or the 300-watt iTechWorld. The competition here is so strong, it seems to me there's a pretty narrow niche where the iTechWorld's the best fit. Perhaps its ideal buyer is a bit like the Redarc buyer, someone who's not relying too heavily on the accessories and has similar power needs of around 115 to 125 watts, but is on a tighter budget and wants things the Redarc misses out on, like built-in legs and the IP64 rating. Again, the iTechWorld isn't a poor blanket. As you can see on the radar chart, there's only actually one area where it came in last, compared to 3 for the Hardcore and Companion and 6 for the Redarc. It's just that in most other areas it's stuck back in 3rd place. So amongst these 4 blankets, it does most things okay, but nothing amazingly. You see the same thing in the overall specs. There's a lot of light green and orange there, which means 2nd or 3rd place. The only objective areas it stands tall are that it's the lightest of the 3 200-watt blankets, and it's also got the most comfortable carry handle. That's it as far as I see it, so I guess it'd be good if you've got to carry it some distance. Unfortunately, the misses are much easier to find than the hits. It's got the worst performing regulator, and the other accessories look like they've been borrowed from a King's blanket. The median power output was marginally the lowest of the 3 200-watt units at 125 watts, which again isn't poor, but it's not quite as good as the others, and it's only 8 watts ahead of the Redarc, which has got a lower rating. There aren't enough eyelets to hang it anywhere useful. The handle started tearing away on mine, and it's only got a 1-year warranty, which in the end didn't cover a replacement on my unit, and you could argue any warranty is only as good as the company behind it. Now, it's not all bad news if you're considering the iTechWorld. I paid $5.99 for mine, but if you use the 5% discount code down in the description, this will immediately come down to $5.69, which is a bit better. However, I've seen them on sale for $4.99, which is an even more compelling deal, and 5% off that makes it even better. At $4.99, you're under $4 per watt in the real world, which is the best value here by a fair margin, and I reckon that makes up for the compromises in other areas. At the time, the 300-watt unit was stomping value at $6.69 or only $3.50 per watt, which is why I put out a separate video when the sale was on recommending both units at those prices. So if you really want an orange solar blanket and you're a bit disappointed in how it's performed here, at the very least use my 5% discount code, or better still, combine that with a sale price and you'll have done well. iTechWorld can go one of 2 ways here. Either compete on price and make $4.99 the regular price, or keep the current pricing, improve the cell efficiency so the power is more on par with the Companion, switch their accessory supplies from Kings to Hardcores and go with an MPPT regulator, add eyelets to both sides and increase the warranty to 2 or 3 years.
The winner is...
Wasn't that great? Well, I think the Hardcore takes the prize today. I reckon it's the best all-rounder and it performs well in most of the areas which I think matter to most people. The Companion is another great option, especially if size and power are more important, and I think either of these 2 options will suit most people. The Redarc and the iTechWorld are still good blankets, but I think they would suit buyers with a more specific set of needs, so I've put them in equal 3rd place because it depends so much on what those needs are. For me personally, the Hardcore is just too big and heavy and I don't need the accessories, so I'll be choosing either the Companion or the 300-watt iTechWorld, and this just demonstrates that the best overall may not be the best for you. So I hope that helps you choose your next solar blanket. When you come to purchase whichever product suits you best, please use the affiliate links in the description and you'll be supporting my channel at the same time. If you found this review helpful, please like, subscribe and share it with others. But that's all for now, so I'll catch you next time.